Greetings, everyone. What better time to talk about trauma than in this time? Because I see people using their education as a weapon against those who are uneducated. This nature, this spirit to divide and rule is one that just baffles me, to be honest with you. You see people who had the opportunity to go to school, had the resources to help them become who they think they are, and then use that to embarrass other persons. No humility, no sense of purpose to say that I have had this chance and this opportunity to reach to these levels, because sometimes the very levels we say we are at, we are nowhere, because that can come crashing down. But let's just say we identify our hard work into getting to a certain level. And when we get there, we don't look for the opportunity to see how we can impact or influence other persons around us. We don't know that the thing that prevent them from becoming you is this fine line, opportunity and chance. And many persons you see walking around are traumatized. They're filled with trauma in their life. And when you look at them, it's not showing because it's psychological. Now, let me share some example of my own trauma. When I was a little girl, between the age of 3 and 4 years old, I was living with my mother, my biological mother. And I'm sure I shared the story, but I'm sharing it again. I went to bed with my mother, and in the middle of the night, I woke up and that room was dark and she was not there. And I started screaming and screaming and screaming. And the lady that was living next door had a room that separated our room from her room, just one door in the middle. She opened it. She took me in her arms and brought me to her room. And in the morning, when my mother came home, she confronted her about leaving this baby alone. And my mother threatened me that if I ever did that again, she would beat me. And so the next time I woke up in the room filled with darkness again, I took my pillow. By this time, I'm 4.5, no more than 5. And I took my pillow and hid my face in it and cried until I fell asleep. At 54 years old, there's never a time when the light is turned off that I don't freak out. My family does it all the time just to get to me. I'm in the shower and they turn off the light and laugh. But they don't realize how much that affect me. A lot of people that are suffering, that are dealing with traumas in their life, are not able to even make that connection. I now know I am terrified of the darkness because of what happened to me as a little girl. The same thing is true. When I was growing up as a young girl into my teenage years, I was terrified of men. I was scared of men. As a big girl in grade 9, I was put to sit between two boys because I was talking to my friends. And I was so traumatized. I was so afraid that these boys were going to do something to me to cause me to become pregnant. And that came from the fact that I didn't know what was happening at the time, but I know what happened wasn't good. I know men came to the window and ordered my mother to open the door. And when they came in, they laid her on the ground, all three of them, and did things to them. The 4-year-old mind didn't really know what was happening, but I know it was violent. I know it wasn't a good thing. And so for years, I was terrified of boys, terrified of men, thinking that they're going to harm me. And so even as a 16-year-old girl, a 17-year-old girl, a 19-year-old girl, you can't get too close to me. Some years ago, a friend from back home came to visit Canada, and he had met my ex-husband. And while we were all there laughing and talking, The guy asked my ex-husband, how did you get her to go out with you? Because she was wild. And he said, she was wild until the day we got married. Because guess what? I thought men were bad and that they could do bad things to me. And so I grew up and throughout my life, being terrified of men, being uncomfortable in a room with too much men. And so, although men have been my best friends, the truth is, I am not very comfortable in a room with too much men. Trauma. How many of you are walking around with traumas in your life that you are not able to identify? You don't even realize the reason why you're doing this is because of this. And so that's why we have to be very careful about how we judge a situation. We don't understand why the woman is so, you know, vulgar, why the lady is so promiscuous, why the guy is so, angry, why is he a thief. These traumas, they're painful. And some people know where they're coming from, but some people still have not made the connection with why they are the way they are. And so, if you are angry about something or something affects you in a way that you can't explain, then you need to take time to assess it to say, why am I so angry because of this? Because sometimes, for the most part, I can be calm, but I get very angry when certain things happen, certain touch button situations occur, because guess what? It triggers me. You see, when it comes to violence towards anybody, when it comes to violating anybody's rights, that's when I speak the loudest because I understand the importance of feeling connection to people. I understand their struggles a lot of time, even when I haven't had that specific struggle, because I've had my own trauma, I've had my own struggles in life, and because of that, I am eternally supportive and understanding of people who are going through hard times. And I don't always like to judge a situation and leave it at that place of judgment. The initial state of saying, what is wrong with you? I always go back from that to say, what has caused that? What would happen to this individual to cause them to behave this way? And so some of these big women I see on social media acting the fool, it is very terrible if you ask me. But then I start saying to myself, I wonder what traumatic events unfold in their lives for them to be this way. Because when you listen to the stories of people who behave badly, and let's put that in quotation, there's always a cry for help. There is always a cry for help. And as these women target each other, you have to wonder, what is it in this person that triggers them? Because I see this one woman, I think her intention is to do good. And you see all these other women attacking her, attacking her. And I'm saying, why? See, this woman is not perfect. And truthfully speaking, this woman have offended me also. But the thing is, I don't take it the way they do. I look at her and say, what is it about you that handles constructive criticism in such a negative way? Because it's just pure love. When it comes from me, it's pure love. My family can't understand me sometimes. No matter how vexed I get about something, no matter how much I say I am done with somebody, it's never really over. And no matter how you say things that agitate me or upset my spirit, I always feel there's an opportunity for you to still come back and inspire me. And that's how I live my life. And so as I end this video talking about trauma, I'm saying we all are walking around, some of us looking like we're okay, but filled with so much trauma in our lives that even we sometimes don't understand. And for me, I am blessed that the spirits often come back and allow me to understand why I feel this way, why I do these things, and so on and so forth. And so I say, for everybody who's suffering any ill effects of any traumatic episodes in their life, present or past. I say, stay blessed, hold your head up, share with those who you can trust, because there are people you cannot trust with sharing your trauma, and reach out if you ever want to talk. Okay? On that note, I'm going to say stay blessed, keep your head up, stay strong.